Okay, so here are helpful tips when you're playing with a friend or if you want to be a dominant duo.
Alright.
So this is kind of a long list. You ready?
Yeah.
Because it goes in depth. Okay, first off is landing. It's important that you communicate which location you'd like to target. Focus on a particular building and aim to either head for the same spot and land together, or split up a little so you aren't fighting over the same loot. So long same loot. So long as you've landed in the same vicinity, ensure you've said what supplies you've picked up and call for backup if there are any enemies in the area. And it's imperative that you act and react quickly, when cracking open chests or responding to a teammate's plea for help. Fighting. If you suddenly spot some enemies, or if you're in a pinch, call it out. Remember, communication is absolutely vital when playing with an ally. Another common mistake is to be too descriptive when telling your ally where the enemy is looking. Just keep it really simple. Consult the compass. What direction are they heading? Anything of interest nearby? When you're in the fight, it's a good idea to try and spray down the same opponent.
Yes. Yes. Double
Call
teaming
out
one person.
call out which enemy you're targeting and shoot them down. The same goes for structures too. Of course, you can't prepare for every aspect of a fight, so it's all about thinking together on the fly and working out the best course of action. If it makes more sense to flank, then have one of you sneak around the enemy. If it makes more sense to get the high ground, build a structure together to overlook your opponent. It's all about making the most of the fact you can coordinate as a duo. Always think about how you'd approach the situation now that there's two of you. Finally, take into account that more often than not, you'll have to face two enemies. If you knocked someone down, prepare to face the other ally and be aware for any sneak they might be cooking up. Alright,
Alright,
so
so
well, there's more, but let's talk about it. So, that's what we don't do. We do
we don't double
1v1.
team one person. Exactly. Exactly.
It's pretty much like we 1v1 or the
It's like we're
enemy
in a freaking
gets
solo
us,
game.
right? Yeah. And it's like 1v1 or the enemy is doing a 2v1 and then we die. If you look at Tfue and whenever he's playing duos,
Cloak.
they always try to worry about one person. Right, worrying about one person, knock him. Sometimes you can't finish. Honestly,
I
like
would not
if you
finish. I would never finish. Unless it's
no, I mean
arena.
like
Unless it's arena.
no, you can finish, of course, but if the enemy's coming up, don't finish. I mean, he's
Unless
just
you
gonna
unless you
get
know
you
you're
weak.
gonna die.
Yeah. Okay, that's fighting. So we need to take on the same opponent. We need to worry about that. Okay, reviving. We're keeping this one short and sweet. If you know that you've got time, go for the revive. Be prepared. However, to ditch your mate if the situation's looking dire and play for yourself from there, happen to win that fight, that's the time to check if you got a moment to get your friend back on their feet. Before you go for the revive, it's also worth constructing a basic set of walls around yourself. This will provide some much needed protection from enemies either still in the area or players who happen to be passing by. See, like, we can't just revive out in the open, because how I got sniped,
Yeah, you
I
need to build around.
if we
Okay,
went in the
but that's the
building.
thing. They would have pushed you though. You should have
No,
left me.
no, it was that one person, the soccer skin. She was weak. She saw me. She looked back. She saw me, and she got the snipe because we were out in the open. What we should have done is went in the building. She wouldn't have went for us because she was weak. So we always have to be in a building when we
Or
revive
box up.
or box. Yup. Okay, building. Make sure you both make sure you're both harvesting as many materials as you can, whether that be chopping down trees when moving between points on the map or gathering resources from fallen enemies. Again, communicate with each other when building forts and ensure you're both on the same page. As long as you've both got enough resources to hand, you can build some pretty amazing structures. It's also worth calling out how many materials you've got. This means that you've also got tabs on when your ally is running low, so you can back them up if they suddenly run out. See, because a lot of times I always run out of mats, and then you're getting high
I have a
ground
ton of
and I
mats.
can't do anything.
I always have a ton of mats. I always farm.
Okay, positioning. We recommend keeping a little distance between each other when looting, fighting, and traveling. This will reduce the chance of you both getting taken out at the same time, and open up greater opportunities to outmaneuver the enemy in the process. Being creative and flanking to your destination or simply keeping a little distance between the pair of you forces the enemy to face two separate threats instead of one. So far tougher to handle and make enemies more prone to making mistakes as well. So make sure you're helping out your teammate by topping them up with an access stuff if scavenged. So that's not it, but
So I need to start sharing mats. Is that, or you need to start farming more mats?
well, a lot of times I don't have time because you get knocked. And
Yeah,
then,
because I'm a fucking bot.